Let me know when people are writing in.
Live.
Good morning, everybody. We're coming to you live right here from inside the main build facility of Bubba's Exotic Motorsports. I'm Tom, and we all know the Master Bubba. Good morning, Bub. How you doing today?
Hey, I'm doing really good so far, man. I got a lot of stuff going on. I feel like I've had my arms pulled off already, but I got a lot going on right now.
Good weekend?
Yeah, really good weekend. It was, this past everything since last, Monday, Tuesday, it was events daily. I mean, we had everything Monday through Friday. Saturday double booked, Sunday I think double or triple booked on events. So man, it just has been wide open throttle for everybody at BEM. So it's just been a lot of fun time, man. We've literally had guys from here to southeast Florida. I'm talking like Miami, Homestead area, all the way up to the northwest. Up at where did they start this past weekend?
We were up at the firm.
So just literally Team BEM spread everywhere this weekend.
Beautiful event yesterday, the Guinness World Record holding largest cars and coffee event yesterday. We attended that. We're going to talk a little bit about that as well, man. That was another amazing event by the guys over at Cars and Coffee of Palm Beach. This episode is brought to you by Bubba's Exotic Motorsports. That's Bubba'sExoticMotorsports.com. Miss Outlaw Boutique. For the finest of boutique apparel, it's Miss Outlaw Boutique. Visit her on the web, 561-660-6695. Ladies and gentlemen, the monkey was loose this weekend. Monkey in Paradise, the two-time double gold winner out of San Francisco, made right here in West Palm Beach, Bub.
Yeah, man.
Monkey in Paradise. Remind you,
drink responsibly.
Maybe we're going to talk about that as well. Cars and Coffee of Palm Beach, the Guinness World Record holding largest cars and coffee event in the world. And it was a big show yesterday. TonyRienzi.com, exotic car guru and salesman to the stars, Bub. It was an amazing weekend. Bub, let's talk about Friday. It was your birthday celebration on Friday, man.
Yeah, it was, it was a great day. I mean, we had a lot of stuff going on. We cranked it out here in the facility. We got a lot of stuff done. Don't remember what we did, but we got a lot of stuff done.
Sure
so, it was a really good time, I guess.
We had a great time. Your party was amazing, man. We had a really fun time with your birthday party. A lot of good friends over there.
Yeah.
A lot of great things happened. Cake everywhere. It turned out to be a mess.
Yeah, that was actually pretty solid, man. It was. It's funny because typically when we go out, we go and we celebrate somewhere. We rent out a restaurant. We do something. When we go out for anybody's party, we just always like to go out and have a good time. For some reason, we just thought of doing a house party this time. And I'll tell you what, man, we almost took the roof off, dude. We had 100+ people there. It was catered by Jumbie Bay. It was absolutely amazing. The place was freaking, packed everywhere. Left to right, shoulder to shoulder. The place was packed to front yard, the inside of the house,
Yep.
the gym room in the house. There was crap going on everywhere.
Well, there were 3 naked guys running around, I understand, and booby marks all over the Bubba's Exotic Motorsports 991 Porsche.
This is true.
How about that?
This is true, man. There were a lot of boobs and balls that night.
There was a lot of boobs and balls like that. Saturday, we had, you came in for a little bit. I've never seen it before. You lasted about 30 minutes. You turned around and left and went home. So that night you had VIP passes to the Miami Marlins game.
Yep.
And with Newfound Glory.
Yep.
So you spent that part of the day. Saturday, we had some technical difficulties in the studio. We were a little late getting the #1 rated internationally syndicated Motorsports podcast out to you, but we got on the air all the same, and I carried the show with our producer and our personal assistant. Sunday, we were at the Guinness World Record holding largest cars and coffee event in the world. John and Max and crew asked us to come over there. They asked us to please set up the Bubba's Exotic Motorsports race and rally team for people to physically see. Let's talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, man, it was, again, that's just, we put in so much time, the whole entire crew does here at BEM. Just getting, let's take, for example, like Saturday, when we had so much going on Saturday. I had, Saturday morning we had the radio show, which I totally failed on that one. Then we had, I had to leave from Miami to meet Newfound Glory at the Marlins VIP Stadium in the Diamond Club. So there's so much stuff going on there. So it was like my entire Saturday had zero chance and zero time of getting anything ready. And that just shows how my entire crew really steps up to the plate. I had everybody here on my team literally transporting cars around, getting them detailed, getting everything done on them so that Sunday morning, 7 a.m., we could get up and we could all drive down to Palm Beach Lakes and we could have those cars lined up for Max and John over at Cars and Coffee, because that is just one event you guys don't want to miss. And I'll tell you what, man, we had everything out there from, the rally car to the high-end Porsches to, supercharged vets to, mild to wide.
Lamborghinis, Ferraris, Tony Franco, hooked on driving. Yeah. Tony Rienzi, the tour bus was packed. The monkey was out there, Bub. When we were leaving yesterday, we were down there hanging out with Vanilla Ice and crew. Everybody was there. When we were leaving yesterday, Max actually called me over and he just was touched by how much emotion and thought we put into doing that for them down there. They are a title sponsor, and they want us now setting up at the entrance to the Cars and Coffee event every month. I told them we'd be glad to, because they're a title sponsor, you know, and we'll do that. It's going to be fun, so make sure you don't miss this month down there at the Cars and Coffee. It's 9 to 12 on a specific Sunday. We'll give you the date. I haven't looked for this month yet. It's coming up in the next couple of weeks, actually. And it will be at the Palm Beach Outlet Mall, 7 to 1. I know we brought a ton of people down there yesterday, Bob.
Yeah, there was a lot of people, man. It was literally, the place was freaking packed. I don't know if I've ever seen, I mean, literally up until Cars and Coffee of Palm Beach was over. I kid you not, man. I'm talking like 11:30, 11:45. It's over at 12. There were still cars coming in when it was literally over. It was like people were pulling in, they'd stop. Even if they didn't even park and get out, they were just coming in and just cruising through and then turning around and leaving. That's how packed this place was. Every spot was full, huge vendors out there, major builders out there. Everybody had a great time. We all loved it, man, except for a little bit of rain, but who cares? You know, it's South Florida. We get a lot of rain right now, so it happened. We all stuck it out. Everybody had a great time. Really
good time, but very proud of you. Very proud of what you built with this race team. You are the best in the business, man. You're one of the top 3 in the world today. I was just elated at how perfect everything came off. In fact, one of the members, the management members of the Cars and Coffee was concerned this was normally their slowest Cars and Coffee event of the season because we brought a presence out there. We had enough time to promote it. We packed the place, man.
Oh, it was packed, dude. Yeah, it was
a good time. A lot of people came out to see that race team and to meet us in person and all that. And they got to see the rally car, which was, it ran the day before at the firm. Our rally team worked around the clock and got back on the road to get down for the event. A lot of substitutions made by this team.
Yeah, a lot, man. And it's, you know, that's when you know it was a good day out on the freaking rally course, dude. When you're running rally cross.
It comes back with another blown radiator.
When you rip off the front bumper, the whole front end's taken off, the rear end's taken off, man, that's when you've been running that car hard. That's the way to do it.
It's the way to go, man.
If you're going to do it, every trip is like $3 to $4 grand.
Join us at the next, we're going to give you the date of the next one. Come back out and join us. But we're going to talk a little bit about a couple things today. You've got a wonderful BMW in here. Actually came in out of the Cars and Coffee event. Let's talk a little bit about that. You did do the exhaust system, a custom setup exhaust system on John Zalinga from Cars and Coffee, one of the owners, Aston's. And you do it in a way where you don't have to go out and spend $5,000, $10,000, $15,000 on a stainless exhaust system. You hand fabricate these exhaust systems at a very good rate, so you have a great sound.
Yeah, I mean, it's, you know, it doesn't take much. You know, there's a lot of guys out there in the industry that just want a little bit of tone and they don't want to spend a lot of money. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that at all. You know, and that's what we can bring them to the table. I mean, there's a lot of great exhaust systems out there. You know, we're sponsored by some of the biggest names in the industry. And, you know, there's no reason to, on some of these rides, put, you know, like you mentioned, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000, up to $10,000, $12,000 for a bolt-on, you know, exhaust system that's, you know, comes to you either fully polished or it's titanium or it's stainless steel, you know, all these crazy things that the average end user doesn't really care about any of that stuff. They're just, you know, simply they buy it because it's either A, bolt-on, or B, it gives them the tone they want. But there's a lot of components and things you can do today, in today's world, where you can just modify, doing simple muffler deletes, doing resonator deletes. Sometimes, you know, today's cars have upstream cats, downstream cats, for sometimes resonators too. So you've got, you know, 2, 4, 6, 8 sort of filtration and silencing devices in the exhaust systems. And some of those, man, yeah, you've got them. They come from an emission standpoint. They're there for a reason. But I'll tell you what, man, you can remove and modify and open up a couple of those, whether you do, you know, aftermarket X pipes, pipe deletes, which is muffler deletes, resonator deletes, things like that. And all of these are basic bolt-on items that you can make them fit and fabricate them so that they are direct fit essentially with the stock system. And they're really low budget, man, but they give you exactly what you want.
And one of the things, Bub, you're very, very fanatical about, you like retaining the look of the factory appearance. You feel like a lot of R&D went into this from their style, from the manufacturer. So what you like to do is keep the factory tips on it in many cases. And when you're sectioning out the exhaust systems, you don't clamp, you weld. So you've got a beautiful weld, and you use a ceramic coating over the top of things. And your welds are like butter. And you even make custom, in fact, Craig is going to get the metal right now so that you can make factory replacement hangers, and everything stays in its exact factory location, and the factory exhaust tips are centered at the outlet holes.
Yeah, I mean, again, like this system that we're doing on this car now, this BMW, is it's a full system from literally from the manifolds essentially all the way back. It's a one-piece welded system. That's the way BMW designed it. That's the way they built it. So when you look at going to buy like a off-the-shelf direct fit style system, starting point is way up front. So that number for an exhaust system on this car, like just to buy a nice kit, something good, not bad, is, you know, $2 to $3 grand for something decent. I'm talking stainless steel, you know, with all factory replacement hangers. And even then, it's like, you know, really, are you going to get the exact tone you want, where you can, you know, go through, modify certain pieces? If you do it, like you just mentioned, welding all of the components, you can, you know, do our factory cuts at the original welds, so that essentially you're putting your welds in the same spot the factory did. All the design is still the same. You're just removing one component and replacing it with something else, whether you're going high flow or whether you're going a straight through design. This car, being a turbocharged system, it's going to sound really, really good. Once you remove mufflers like that, you can start to hear that turbo spool a little bit. You hear it whining at idle. Sounds really, really nice, man. And it's not over the top aggressively loud.
I noticed this one too also has the factory, the leads in it. So exhaust leads, or what they call cutouts.
Valves, yeah.
Yeah, and I saw those in the tailpipe as well. I see you section that and retain that as well for the build.
Yeah, so I'm going to actually, you know, like we mentioned on like the vets that we did last week, you know, we did a couple vets with, you know, off-road X pipes, long tube headers. Those things get really loud, man, when you open up those valves. This car actually does have it has a bypass valve on the left side as well, but we are going to modify and retain that so that it does have that factory fitment. So essentially when I do muffler delete pipe, then I go factory outlet tip. The left side tip is actually incorporated with, the left tip itself is incorporated with that valve. So I am going to modify and then bypass that so it is straight through as well, so it does give the client exactly what he wants.
Right on.
But it retains that factory looking fitment. The hangers will reach exactly what they should.
You're fanatical about that. You're very, very centered. As a designer and builder, it's why you're in the top 3 today. You are very fanatical about everything you do. It's
I just want to take the time to do it right, you know. You know, I've seen so many things out there that have just been modified and hacked up, and man, I mean, some of the stuff you see, you know, not even throwing names, but just some of the items you see come through the shop when you see, you know, exhaust modifications, especially. You know, people would just take their cars. You know, I think we talked about it last week. You know, the days of like Midas's and all that. You know, the quick muffler stuff. We were down in like Riviera, so we're going south. You know, when we were going to a monkey event, so we passed, I think, a Midas or just a quick muffler shop.
We're going to
all
the
that
McLaren release.
Yes, there you go. So, I mean, all of those items, those companies, I mean, really, not in a bad way, but how much longer is it going to be for them? Because they're not using today's standards. They're not using stainless steel piping. They're not using mandrel benders. You know, these things that are now common in today's world are not getting used at those places. They still leave factory style piping. They're just using steel, not stainless steel, just galvanized crap. And there's nothing wrong with that. It was quick and good for a time, but now today's material is so much further than that. There's no way you're going to take your car in there, a brand new Z06, for example, and have a full direct fit exhaust replaced.
Right.
And by the way, today's materials aren't rusting out like they were.
No, they're not. So
you're
last
not going to
longer.
see it.
Absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely. So, Bub, we'll be interested to see how this BMW wraps up. We'll talk a little bit more about it in a post show tomorrow. We're also looking here, Bub, right behind us on the Bubba's Exotic Motorsports table. There are 2 of these in the world. One is here, and one is at Billy Lane's shop. Your best friend, the chopper builder. We're looking here, Bub, at a steering column for a 1966 Oldsmobile Starfire, of which there are no replacement or rebuild parts for this vehicle. This particular column, Bub, would not lock in its telescoping position. It was always moving in and out, causing a very unsafe driving condition for the client because it was going in when you decelerated and coming out when you're accelerating. The other thing was the tilt mechanism on it was broken as well. So this whole thing was a disaster. And what you did is you started going through and redesigning and redeveloping how this should be functioning. Take us through what's going on.
So, you know, as you mentioned, you know, for a 66 Oldsmobile Starfire, I mean, not only is that a rare car in itself, but GM's telescopic steering column mechanisms were pretty freaking rare. I mean, I think some of the first cars were like the bigger GMs, and a couple of the vets had those, and like the C3 model line, right? They had a black tab at the top of the wheel. You roll them, slide them, and that was literally what you could just loosen that tab, and you could push the wheel forward if you wanted it away from your stomach or chest, bring it out to you, whatever you wanted, whatever your personal preference was. This is another one of those cases where it all just starts failing. Everything does. The steering wheel itself, you could hold in your hand and shake it everywhere and push it in and out, and nothing worked how it should. And that is just all the way down the line. So when you have that much play, your horn contact ring doesn't work. So now you have no horn. Then you also have no turn signals because all the play inside of the wheel doesn't allow it to retain and actually remove and add on the click itself once it does capture on the cam itself. So you have multiple problems that will arise from a simple, you know, single bearing failure, anything like that. This car is a super, super rare setup to find. No way are you ever going to find a direct fit column for this thing in terms of like an off-the-shelf buy it, stick it in the car, and go down the road. So you have to find all factory replacement parts for this thing, source them, get them found somewhere, get them sent in, and then you can go through the rebuild process of getting everything blasted down, getting all the bearings and joints clean, getting everything pressed, then getting it all done. So what you're looking at is pieces like this. This is the lower steering column bearing, and this thing is literally rusted to a point where, and this car is what, we're going to be 50 something years old right now, right? 51 something, 66. So you know, you've got bearings that are this rusted. Again, you're not going to pick up the phone and find them, so we have to literally source components to not only rebuild these, media blast them, and get them all exactly down to factory spec, so this thing does retain its full functionality the way it should from 66. But we've got to get it built to the T. I mean, this thing, there are so many adjustments inside of these columns. Yeah. It's incredible. This isn't just a shaft running through the center.
No.
With splines on the end, you stick your wheel on, tighten one nut.
Has smaller shafts within it?
Yes. So you have, this is actually the telescopic mechanism right here. So you have really 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 components that make up the telescopic part of this steering column. And this one is the starting point. So this is actually where your horn sits, right in the dead center of this, okay? And this is knurled, so you can actually grab it and turn it. And this is right in the dead center of the steering wheel inside the car. You would turn it to the left to loosen it, and that actually releases tension from this center stud on this center stud here, which comes down and pushes on a cam of this arm here that flares out inside a larger diameter shaft inside the center of the column. So what that does is this, the more you tighten this down, the harder it pushes on the center rod here, which pushes this cam lobe out, and that creates friction and locks it and flares inside of the steering column itself. So all of these components have to not only be clean, free-flowing, free-moving, but they have to be adjusted literally to within 1/1000th of an inch. And that is why there are 6 different keyways on this center adjusting ring here. So you can actually, as this thing wears down over time, you can continue to adjust it to where you have good grab and friction the whole time. Now, before you can even get into adjusting, you have to make sure your steering column is snug. This case, it was not. I mean, bearings were literally falling out of this thing. There are multiple just balls that were laying in the bottom of the car, on the floorboard, everywhere, which tells you it's bearing failure. And this just comes from simple wear and tear, man. So it's nothing more than wear and tear, but you have to go through a serious process in today's world of getting this thing rebuilt up to spec exactly the way it would have been done from GM on Oldsmobile's production line in 66 in order for this thing to do exactly what it's supposed to do.
And ladies, everybody else, 29 years old, he can tell you about the functionality and the technical aspects of the telescoping 66 Oldsmobile Starfire, or do twin turbo upgrades on the latest Lamborghini with all the correct tuning. Bub takes his time to learn, to research, to be the best. Bub knows how to work every piece of his business. He can sew, he can upholster, he can paint, he can do body work, he can do all of the mechanical. This is what sets him apart and makes him so special in the industry. So Bub, we're gonna jump out of this. I wanted to step onto this one thing here, Bub. Grassroots Motorsports, I want to remind everybody, has developed the Trackside Companion. And this Trackside Companion comes complete with a 10% discount coupon that you can use here at Bubba's Exotic Motorsports. It also comes with a very nice Grassroots Motorsports bumper sticker on the inside. And this book, Bub, is full of what?
Man, this is literally, dude, I kid you not, this is probably one of the best books I've ever picked up in my life in terms of being able to pick something up and paint a visual picture as you read it, you know, per se. And, you know, when you go out, anybody that's gone out and they've spent time behind the wheel in a car at the track, I'm talking quarter mile, road course, on-road, off-road, rallycross, anything you can imagine. If you guys have ever done it, you can relate to this book 110%. Even if you haven't done it and you want to start getting into that stuff, this is a very good baseline book of getting a full understanding of what your car should do, the way it's operating, how it feels, how it's responding when you're out on that track and you're running around some of these corners at 100 miles an hour plus. You can really relate to what your car is doing just by how it's, you know, pushing through corners. And this book will literally give you tech tips on, hey, if you're feeling this, like maybe the rear end of the car feels like it's pushing out, you know, it'll tell you exactly what those symptoms are caused from and how to resolve that problem. And then you can make notes of it. You can chart it for each track that you're going to, so you can always have a go-to setting for your car for an individual track.
It's a very interesting book. It fits right inside your glove box. It was designed with that intent in mind. It is called the Trackside Companion. You can get it 3 places. Bubba's Exotic Motorsports.
Yep.
at the Bubba's Exotic Motorsports tour bus when it's out. We have things on display at the table, free to the public, and grassrootsmotorsports.com will also send you one, Bub.
Yep.
So, Bub, thank you for taking us through 1966 all the way through today with the modern BMWs.
Yeah, man, absolutely, dude. That's what we do here at BEM. We love doing it. We've got, I mean, one-off Ford GTs in production next door in paint and body. We have, I mean, cars that are going through. We've got an International Scout that's in its final leg right now. So, I mean, everything from on-road vehicles to off-road, to rally cars, to track cars, to twin turbo, to Ferraris over here, to Oldsmobiles over here, to, I mean, all kinds of crap.
Yes, exactly. Actually, our exotic car portion of the main build facility is over my right shoulder right here, where there's a Ferrari sitting on that lift right now.
Yep.
So, Bub, we're going to jump out of here for this segment. Until tomorrow, Bub.
Just keep on doing it, Bubba style.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's make sure we reach out to touch somebody's life in a positive manner today if we can. Open the door for somebody who's got their hands full or an elderly person. If there are holes in the bottom of their shoes, buy them a pair of shoes. Payless is cheap. And if somebody's hungry, ladies and gentlemen, feed them. McDonald's is cheap. 7-Eleven is cheap. Just try to do something kind today for somebody. You know what? Just get out there and do it. This episode has been brought to you by Bubba's Exotic Motorsports. That's Bubba'sExoticMotorsports.com. Miss Outlaw Boutique for the finest in boutique apparel. 561-660-6695. The Monkey's Loose, Monkey in Paradise, the two-time double gold winner from out of San Francisco, even though it's made right here in West Palm Beach. The Monkey reminds you to please drink responsibly. Cars and Coffee of Palm Beach, the Guinness World Record holding largest cars and coffee event in the world. Don't miss the next one. The Bubba's Exotic Motorsports tour bus and rally team will be set up right at the front there, and we'd love to meet all of you guys out there. Come see some of the other celebrities that are out there as well. Good people, good time, the most coordinated cars and coffee event you'll ever attend. Finally, Tony Rienzi, TonyRienzi.com, the exotic car guru and salesman to the stars. Until tomorrow, people, let's keep on doing it Bubba style. What do we got here, Bubba?